not only played in the league, but coached as well. Former Coach of the Year in Sam Mitchell and Earl Watson, who, well, last coaching job was one of the teams that's playing in the postseason tonight in the Phoenix Suns. Which series are you looking forward to the most?
The Hawks and Sixers for me. What Trae Young is doing is phenomenal. To see his growth and his evolution, coach, at that point position, not being on the biggest stage in New York and not being rattled or afraid. The way he played and put on a show was very charismatic of an 80s basketball player who really brought the game into our front home in the living room. And to see what he's done in the first game, play beyond the arc and forcing his will and style on the game, to me has separated. And Coach McMillan, he's been a lot of different stops, had great runs, always had a knock on him of not winning big series, and I think he's proven he's capable of winning a big series now.
Earl, to the point that Sam's making about his efficiency offensively, finished the game with 20 points in just 21 minutes, 8 for 13 from the field. What do you make of his shot selection and how he was able to get his shot off?
Well, first off, let's give credit to their training staff, their health and training staff, getting him ready to come back and have an impact into that game. And all he did was find the opportunities. He was patient in the post, patient shooting over the smalls, attacking the rim. And he is one of the few guys on their team that they allow to shoot the mid-range shot in a post-up position, kind of like Dirk Nowitzki, right? He took that page out of that book and he executed that perfectly.
Kristaps Porzingis doesn't play in this game, right? Dallas has to win. It just felt like the right formula for them to pick up a win.
When you put your system in early, right, and you're playing the way you're playing, you become a machine. We've seen this with, like Coach said, it could be a dynasty. We've seen this with Pop in San Antonio. No matter who's there, it's next man up. You understand your role. Every player has an identity within the team that's spoken, and you come and you bring your game to the identity. You get on the court, you play together, and Coach, right now, they're unstoppable. They can go 1 through 5, 1 through 7. They fill in, and they play at high levels.
Think about this.
How did he attack and put pressure on the Mavs defense with the way that he provided the offense?
Playing off the bounce, Chris, he comes through, he plays off the bounce, he sees the gaps and he attacks the paint. The paint is an activation zone. Anytime he gets to the rim, he's in the rim, he's getting to the free throw line, of forcing the defense to rotate, and if they do, they kick out for threes. And he become a better shooter. So teams respect that, which makes him a gravity player. They have to be up to touch, and then he uses athleticism. Once he gets in the paint, it is a highlight.
Remember the narrative a few years ago that these guys can't play together?
Yeah, that was a believable narrative, only because those two guys both wanted to be the best that they could be. They did a great job in Boston, Coach, of keeping those two players together, which I'm sure you wish they would have did in Toronto when they had T-Mac and Vince Carter. But I don't want to take it back to it. That's who I compare them to. They stay together, they matured, they say less is more. Now they're on the verge of winning the championship.
Look at the history of the NBA, and you just said it.
Denver coming off that game 2, they seem calm, cool, collected over the last couple of days, and they come through big time.
Coach, you know what I see? I see an office of production and rhythms of Tim and Tony, a la San Antonio Spurs. The way they're playing out of the pick and roll, passing at the elbows, the passing, the cutting, playing off the ball, it's bringing back real basketball. So these skill trainers need to change their game. No more bouncing the ball 1,000 times. Teach players how to play without the ball, how to cut and how to get open shots.
Mistakes that Miami made in game 2 with the lack of communication and miscommunication, Denver started running some old school offense, to your point earlier, and look at the problems. As good as Miami is, when you don't communicate and you assume, look at the mistakes that were made.
And the Joker's a counterpuncher. He watches, he reads, he's patient. Any mistake you make, he will counter that, he will master the next move. So if your defense ain't in the second and third rotations or the correct switches and verbalizing things ahead of time, you will be, they will make you pay for it. And I think that's the phenomenal thing about him, Coach. How he gets in the paint, you get him in front of the rim, he has touch around the rim, significant touch, and he has the ability to see corner threes and kick out.
Non-Joker minutes was that one weakness that they had, you know, throughout the season where they couldn't produce, but that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, because their pace, their speed, athleticism, now they're hitting threes. It allowed them to stay within the game and get advantages they didn't have before. What we're seeing right now is really rare. We're seeing a team that's young enough continue to grow in front of our eyes in the finals. Usually when a team gets to the finals, we know who they are. We know what they're going to do. But we're seeing the growth within the finals, meaning they're going to have a future of sustainability to continue to get there.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So you're saying Denver going to be back here in the next 5 years,
They're going to be
2 or 3 times?
competing for the next 5 years.
I agree.
Easily.
Yeah, that's believable right there.